Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna. Am I right? We finished half of 6th chapter and have to start from the second half.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam Chandan here.
Dandavat Pranam Chandan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Am I right? Anyone remembers? Nobody remembers. It's been 2 weeks. Did we discuss about mind last time? Okay. Okay. Om Agyanti Mirandhasya Jnanam-Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yutabadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhuve Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwar Deepika Mataji, Navya Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu.
Yes.
Do you remember what we discussed last time? Not sure.
Yes, Prabhuji. We finished Ashtanga Yoga and we were about to start S with S.
So we are on the right place. Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to confirm. All right. So we are continuing with 6th chapter. Today we will finish this chapter. Only 7 verses remaining, and we probably will do half of 7th chapter. Acronym for this chapter is easy. E stood for enemy or friend, and Krishna says mind is the enemy of a living entity and his friend as well, and must be used to deliver oneself and must not be used to degrade oneself. A stood for Ashtanga Yoga. We discussed the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. Go to a place in a renounced order, not too high, not too low, on a deer skin, ingoing breath into outgoing breath, and vice versa. Meditate on the tip of the nose for the purpose of purifying the heart, focusing on me within your heart. Process is explained, and focus on me with an undeviated attention, just like a lamp in a windless place does not move. Likewise, the mind of a yogi should not move anywhere other than me. And when Arjuna heard this description, he said, Krishna, it is very difficult because the mind is by nature obstinate, मतलब जिद्दी, chanchal, flickering, restless. I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. It is too difficult. Krishna says, yes, chanchalam hi mana Krishna, manas chanchalam asthiram. Manas, mind always goes here and there. Abhyasena tu kauntaya vairagena cha griyate. But you have to do abhyas, you have to try your best. And vairagena cha griyate. And you have to exhibit renunciation. You have to try and you have to exhibit detachment. Now, for an Ashtanga yogi, they try on the form of the Lord in their heart. And when the mind presents distractions because of attachments, the process is to detach oneself from those distractions and attachments and bring the mind back onto focusing on the Lord. For bhakti yogis, that abhyas is holy names. We constantly try to take the mind toward the holy name, Nam Smaran. Um, and when the mind presents distractions because of so many things, detachment from those attachments and bring it back onto the holy name. So that's how slowly we can overcome the flickering nature of our mind. Now, after hearing this, now we are at our present success or failure. So we can start reading. Someone can start.
Yes, Prabhuji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Partha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil.
Arjuna asked this question: what is the destination of one who Okay, Mataji, can you read this first?
Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist, who is the beginning, takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism?
What will happen to these people? Arjuna is asking because Arjuna is having this fear that what Krishna is telling is good. I will practice this, but I don't know if I can come to the stage like a lamp in a windless place and I can focus on the Lord with that much focus attention. So this question is coming: what will happen to those who take to the process but do not attain perfection? What will happen to those? So it's like no man's land, can't experience material happiness, can't experience spiritual happiness. What's the way out? So this is what he's asking, that I began, but I got stuck because of whatever reasons. And stuck in a way, there is always a progress, um, but I could not make to the final destination. Okay. Supreme Personality of Godhead said a transcendentalist engaged in the auspicious um, activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So if you keep progressing in your spiritual path, um, evil will never overcome. In other words, you will be happy in this life and in the next life. So this is Krishna telling as a summary that everything will be auspicious, and what does that everything will be auspicious means is described in further verses. So it will become more clear once we read these verses. Okay, someone else can read.
The fallen yogi, the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world.
Hmm. So if a yogi is unsuccessful, then after many many years of enjoyment on the planet of the pious living entities, which is heavenly planets, he will take birth in a family of righteous people, which is like Brahmanical family, or into a family of rich aristocracy. And if the person is practicing yoga, which is meditating on the Lord for a long time, but could not attain perfection, could not fix his mind completely on the Lord, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists, means devotees, who are great in wisdom. Such a birth is rare in this world. Now, two possibilities are discussed. One can become a devotee. He practices for a very short time, and he he dies, or he gives up his practices. So certainly that person will have many many desires, because it takes some time to become free from material desires. So because he has desires while he is practicing, if he gives up or leaves the body in a very short period of time, his desire will be fulfilled and he will go to the heavenly planets. For many many years he will fulfill his material desires, and then he will come back and he will take birth either in a rich family or in a Brahmanical family. This Brahmanical family is not like devotees families. That's the second option. But they are good people. They are righteous people, and rich aristocracy, rich people, so that he does not have to. Because some people, when they have their basic needs are not met, it's difficult for them to focus on self-realization because they are struggling to sustain themselves. So that problem is not there. So that's an added advantage. But this birth is not very rare because they practice only for a short period of time. But those who are trying to meditate on the Lord and um, fix their mind onto Krishna, but could not do so after long practice and have some more practice remaining, they do not go to heavenly planets and waste their time. They have no such desires. They directly take birth in a family of a devotees, and they began right from that point, right from their early childhood. They do not waste their time. They continue their devotional service right in their next birth. Because they are born in family of devotees, they are born and brought up in that culture. Such a birth, Krishna says, is very rare. Sometimes we say rare child. Why? Because the child is beautiful, the child is intelligent, the child is topped in his schools, etc. But according to Krishna, rare birth is when the child is born in a family of devotees. That's the purpose. Reuniting with the Supreme Lord, somehow or other, reawakening that relationship. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have a question, doubt, not a question.
All right.
So, what is like the unsuccessful yogi? Is it the opposite of the like greatest yogi?
No, sorry.
What do you mean by greatest yogi? Deepika Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. I read in an article like it was given information about the greatest yogis. It was from ISKCON St. Louis or somewhere. So it was written like according to the information given, these are the qualities of the greatest yogis. So there was one article regarding this.
And what was it mentioned in that article?
Yeah, Prabhuji, like you have like this fallen yogi, so it's like somewhat little bit opposite of that. Like here we have like the unsuccessful yogis after many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities is born into a family of righteous person. But in that it was written like the greatest yogis, they they are born and brought up in such a way, and how I don't get words to explain. Like I had doubt in that, but today, like seeing this, I got confused.
Okay, now Krishna's definition in the previous one, the best among all the yogi is mat gatenantra atmana shraddhavan bhajatayama samayukto tamomataha. One who always remembers me within his heart and with faith who worships me. Shraddhavan, with faith, bhajatayama, in all circumstances, good and bad. He remains faithful to Krishna and he continues serving the Lord. So he is the best among all the yogis. Now, um, Krishna explained to Arjuna the path of Ashtanga Yoga. The goal is to always meditate on the Lord. Some people try to do that, cannot. In the next life, it is all auspicious. That's what Krishna is trying to say. It's all auspicious. Even if you cannot attain success, it's all auspicious. Next birth based on short or long practice. Now we call them fallen yogi, but it's not really fallen. It's just incomplete in their practice. I mean, they could not attain to the point of love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, which is okay. Um, I don't know what to say because I'm not very clear with your question, Madhuri.
Okay, Prabhuji, because I read that like 2 days back, and today when I saw read this,
You
I
have a
got
question in
confused.
mind, a particular question that you are
Yes,
looking for?
Prabhuji. The question is, I'll just tell you, Prabhuji. The question is, explain according to the information. These are the explanations according to the information given in Bhagavad Gita, that who is really a greatest yogi.
Continue.
Yeah, that's all for the question, Prabhuji.
Okay, who is the greatest yogi?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 chapters. One
Yes,
who
Prabhuji, 6th chapter only. So I read the whole 6th chapter like 4 times.
and you did not find who is the greatest yogi?
No, Prabhuji. The more I read, the more I got confused.
Okay, now who is the greatest yogi will come after 3 slides. Is that all right?
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
And then if you have question, you ask me.
Okay, sure.
All right. Okay. Who will read? Shidhar bro, you would like to read?
Yeah, Prabhu. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. O son of Kuru.
So once he takes which birth? A rare birth. Rare birth. The last, number 42. When he takes a rare birth. And what is the rare birth? He is born in a family of devotees. Why he is born in a family of devotees? Because he was a very nice devotee in the previous life. So he got the Sukriti to be born in family of devotees. That birth is rare, and on taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life. How does he revive? That is the next verse, but we'll wait. He revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. Prabhu, read the next one also.
By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive, transcendental stands always above the uh, ritualistic principles of the scriptures.
In summary, he becomes attracted to the yogic principles. For now, this is universally true for Ashtanga Yogi and for Bhakti Yogis. For Ashtanga Yogi, they hear about Ashtanga Yoga, they become attracted. For Bhakti Yogis, they hear about Hari Kirtan, uh, Mahamantra, Bhagavad Gita discussion, they are immediately attracted. So now, by default, everyone is born in ignorance. Even if we are great devotees in previous life, we'll be born in ignorance. But the moment we come in contact with the devotees, that divine consciousness that we have cultivated in the previous life becomes awakened. And we began from the point where we left off in the last life. We become attracted and we start practicing. Based on how much attraction we have right in the beginning and it continues, that depends upon how much practice of devotional service we have done in the previous life. That's why we see some people, although many people hear Bhagavad Gita, some take up the process much more seriously than others. And that's based because every soul is individual. If someone is advancing very fast in this life, we should not become envious of them, but rather we should understand that I cannot see past so many lives of this person. A soul can be very young but can be very advanced, like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj. So that's how Krishna is telling that whatever progress you make in this life, it is eternal. And in second chapter, Krishna says, Neha Bhikrama Nashosti, Pratyavayana Vidyate. If you make little advancement, it will protect you from greatest type danger of fear. And there is no loss or diminution. And that particular verse is further expanded at the end of 6th chapter in these verses. There is no loss or diminution. Your bhakti will be protected. Now what happens? That is described here. And very good example that we have heard before in that verse applicable here is the example of Maharaj Bharat. Very advanced soul, somehow or other made a mistake, got attracted to a deer. Based on that impression in the mind, got a body of a deer. Although in a body of a deer, he became attracted to Harikatha. When he started hearing, he just could not go anywhere. It's a principle of attraction. He saw all other deers playing, frolicking, eating some dry grass and dry leaves. He was not attracted because he had a param drishtva nivartate. He developed a higher taste in association of sages. So he was drawn by that Harikatha and association of sages. He just stayed there. He didn't care about his eating and sleeping. Very austere. Why? Because his happiness was not dependent only on the dry leaves. his
तो उनको बोलते हैं
happiness.
फोन करने के लिए आपको।
शाम की शो पे
हाँ
वहाँ नहीं।
ठीक है, मैं ये नंबर आपको उनको दे देता हूँ। ठीक है प्रभु।
So
सामान्य प्रभु बात करेंगे क्या?
नहीं, मैं अभी क्लास में
हाँ
हूँ। कौन है?
नंदिन वेतन को।
ओ प्रभु जी धन्यवाद, प्रणाम, जय श्री प्रभु। प्रभु जी मैं अच्छा हूँ, एक्चुअली मैं क्लास के बीच में हूँ, मैं आपको दोबारा कॉल बैक करूँ? कुछ सामान क्या लाना है? हाँ। प्रभु जी जैसे वो आते हैं ना, सिल्वर ज्वेलरी फॉर एकादशी, मेनली। हाँ प्रभु जी, मेनली नेकलेस ओनली प्रभु जी, क्योंकि हमारे जो नेकलेस है उसमें गोल्ड टिंज है, हमें प्योर सिल्वर चाहिए एकादशी के लिए, फॉर राधा कृष्ण। नहीं प्रभु जी, नॉट रियल सिल्वर, no gold coating. Then okay प्रभु जी, all right. When are you coming back? 17th. And please come, we are waiting. Radha Govinda is waiting for you. Certainly प्रभु जी. Yes, yes. Okay, then we're going to Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I will translate. All right, I am sorry. Somehow a phone call came. So Maharaj Bharat, in the form of a deer, he was not attracted to frolicking like others and eating nice food stuff. He was just attracted to the sadhus. This is what Krishna is talking about. The moment you came across the principles of devotion, the principles of yoga, you are immediately attracted. Last birth, he gave up his body, took birth as a Brahmana, Jad Bharat, immediately attracted to yogic principles. His brothers were married. His father was a businessman. Jad Bharat had no interest in material life whatsoever. All of them thought Jar Bharat is a crazy fellow, and Jar Bharat was very happy thinking that I am a crazy fellow, but he was the most wise. And we saw how he was wise. He never spoke, attracted to the yogic principles. People rejected him. People thought, madman. Same thing happened with Sukadev Goswami. Scripture says that people thought this is a madman, Sukadev Goswami. But they didn't realize he is the most wisest among all the wise person. He was the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam because he would not wear clothes and he would just roam around in the forest. People thought madman. Similar thing, Jal Bharat. He was only attracted to the Lord in his heart. He had no other attraction. People are trying to do so many things to gain some material happiness here and there. He was an advanced soul, and we see how advanced was Jad Bharat, that when he met the king, he spoke few words, and the king of the whole world, whole earth planet, was transformed and became a devotee of the Lord. Just like Sukadev Goswami, when he got the opportunity to speak, then when they realize, oh, what is his consciousness? Srila Prabhupada said, all foolish people, until they don't speak, they seems very intelligent, until they don't speak. But when they start speaking, it is all mundane gossip about politics, about office, about this, about this. Then we know that he is only another materialistic person. He is not intelligent. He is bodily conscious, bodily absorbed. So only one cannot understand anyone until the person speaks. So when Sukadev Goswami and Jar Bharat spoke, then they realized, oh, these are greatly realized souls. Everybody surrendered unto them, all those who heard them. So this is the principle. Your next birth in this life, you are very happy if you practice Bhakti Yoga, Susukam Avyayam. And in the next life, you are completely safe. So this is answer to Arjuna's question that I am neither happy now and I don't know what will happen to the next birth. No, Arjuna, you are safe now, you are safe later. Okay, now coming to the last section Y, which is yogi. This will address Deepika Mataji's question also. Tapasvi bhyo diko yogi. Tapasvi is referred to Ashtanga yogis. They do tapas, austerities. Tapasvi bhyo diko yogi. A yogi is higher than tapasvi. Adik means zyada, higher. Jnani bhyo mato dika. And a yogi is far higher than Gyan yogi or transcendental knowledge. Karmi bhyas chadiko yogi. A yogi is also greater than karmis or karmi yogis. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Therefore Arjuna become a yogi. Now here Krishna is describing who is really a yogi. He has he has described Ashtanga yoga. Now this particular last two verses is a transition phase between all the 6 chapter whatever we have read from what we are going to begin the 7th chapter onwards. So just like there is this rod and there is a pivot. So base it's like that toppling, that turning point. So this is one main turning point in the history of Bhagavad Gita. After this, everything else will change from the next chapter. Krishna is going to become, he's going to give the real stuff. So far, beating around the bush. Chapter 4, Gyan Yoga. Chapter 3 and Chapter 5, Karma Yoga. Chapter 6, Ashtanga Yoga or Tapasvi. And Krishna is telling now, whatever I have told you, put it in your pocket and trash it. None of them, a yogi is higher than all these things. Therefore, just try to become a yogi. Now we'll say, Arey Prabhuji, we are discussing so many weeks in this topic. You are telling, put it in, trash it. That's what Krishna says. Krishna says, just keep it aside. A yogi is higher than Jnani, Karmi, and Ashtangi. That's all what I have told you about so far. Chapter number 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I've told you. Therefore, become a yogi. Okay. All right. Volunteer?
A yogi is greater than the ascetic, greater than the empiristic, and greater than the fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi.
Looks complicated, but ascetic means Ashtanga yogi, tapasvis. Empiricist is Jnani yogis, mental speculators. And fruitive worker is Karmi yogis. So a yogi is higher than all these, Karmi, Jnani, and Ashtangis. Therefore, Arjuna always be a yogi. But who is a yogi? Now Krishna describes who is the best among all the yogis. Yogi nam api sarvesham. Api sarvesham, sub among all. Mad gatenantar atmana. Mad, me. Gatenantar atmana. Who thinks of me within his heart. Atmana, within. Who thinks of me. Antar, antaratmana. One who meditates on me within his heart. Shraddhavan bhajate yamam. Shraddha, one who with faith, bhajate, render devotional service unto me. With faith. Faith is a big term. Everyone may be at different level of faith, but Krishna is telling, with faith, render devotional service unto me. Have faith. Samayukta tamo mataha. He is Tamomata, he is best among all the yogis. Okay, Padma Mataji.
And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all.
He is the highest of all. This yogi is the highest of all. Therefore, Arjuna become a yogi because higher than all I have discussed to you before. But who is a yogi? Who with faith render transcendental loving service unto me? Who thinks of me within his heart? And he is highest among all the yogis. Now, Deepika Mataji, this is
Yes, Prabhuji.
something you are looking for?
Yes, Prabhuji. I read the purport twice now.
Are you good?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Your voice is
I think so.
it has two meanings there.
Yeah, because I read from like 6:20 to like 6:47, like around 4 times in last 2 days.
And what were you
and
looking for?
and yeah, I was looking for that. What's the difference? Like there was an article. That article, it said only 3 lines or 4 lines, and I just wanted to know the difference. Like if what's the difference between a successful yogi and unsuccessful yogi? And today when you showed that slide, I was like, okay, that was the main doubt, and it made me more confused. Like after seeing at the slide.
Okay.
So,
Successful yogi who goes back to Godhead.
yeah.
Unsuccessful yogi who comes back.
Okay, so can we say like unsuccessful yogi tried but he couldn't make it?
Yes.
So okay, so
We are trying.
uh-huh. It
I
depends
cannot
that we can, yeah, it depends that can we make it or not.
I cannot guarantee I'll go back to Godhead in this life. I cannot guarantee that.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything. Most likely no. Most
Yes,
likely.
Ravi, I understood.
है ना? But doesn't mean even if I am an unsuccessful, doesn't mean I really am unsuccessful.
Mhm.
In my next life, I will continue from where I left off. If I make it back to Godhead, Krishna's mercy. Is it all right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So nothing is unsuccessful. It's just could not think of Krishna at time of death. That is unsuccessful.
Okay, so can we say successful yogi means the greatest yogi then?
No, greatest yogi is Bhakti yogi.
Bhakti yogi.
That's what
Okay.
Krishna is telling here. Who think of me within his heart and render transcendental loving service.
Okay.
But a Bhakti yogi can be unsuccessful.
Okay.
And
So a
that,
greatest yogi may not be a successful yogi.
no,
That's difference. Like greatest yogi and successful yogis are not same.
yes. Greatest
Okay.
yogi means he's a Bhakti yogi, but he can be successful or unsuccessful.
Okay. So these are two different like versions. Greatest yogi and successful yogi are two
So
different
finally, after
versions.
2 days, you find some peace in
Yes.
your heart.
Yes, Ravaji. Like you'll not believe I couldn't sleep. Like, the question keeps on. I have a very bad habit. Like if I don't get
That's good.
any answer, it's
That's
like it keeps on like lingering till I get the answer that I am satisfied with.
Yeah, you can always text me. You don't need to worry for two days.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
you're welcome. All right. So, thus ends the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now we will go to 7th chapter. Uh, does anyone has any question on 6th chapter?
Prabhuji Srinivas here. In the last slide, so there are few characteristics mentioned about yogi. So whoever does that, they are called yogis. Is that right? Like having full faith and thinking of Krishna all the time, and
Yes.
transcendental devotional service.
Yes. So two items. One who always thinks of the Lord within his heart. Mat gatenantar atmana. Mad, who thinks of Krishna within his heart. Shraddhavan bhajate yamam. Who with Shraddha, who with faith renders transcendental loving service unto me. One who does these two things, he is the best among all the yogis.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Anyone
I'm
else has
trying
any
to
question?
understand if that is a definition of yogi.
Well, Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi are also yogis, but they are not the best among all the yogis.
Hmm.
But the best among all the yogi is who always think of Krishna within his heart and render loving service unto him.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji.
Any other question? Krishna does not say they are not yogis, but Krishna says a yogi, which Krishna's definition of yogi, which is bhakti yogi, is higher than all these people.
Hmm.
Any other question before we go to the 7th chapter?
So, Prabhu, this is Devashish. Hare Krishna, Vandat Pranam.
Then
Prabhuji, when Tapasvi Bhiyo Adhiko
yes,
Yogi. So,
yes.
yogi means bhakti yogi?
That's Krishna's definition. That's what he defines what a yogi means in the next verse. What's
Prabhuji,
it?
yeah, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay, Devashish Prabhu, before Deepika Mataji, is your query resolved?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. So, yeah. The next verse says, and all of yogi, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental service. Mm,
He is the best among all the yogis. He is the
Shraddhavan.
highest of all.
Okay.
Does it answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure?
I mean, sometimes, Prabhuji, what happens is with my very little knowledge of even Sanskrit, I sometimes try to search for keywords like bhakti, like you said, bhakti yogi. So I'm trying to say in the um, where in the verse says bhakti. So it is a bad habit, but I'm trying to get.
Yeah, Prabhu, the definition of bhakti is given bhaja. Bhaja. Bhaja means worship.
Yeah.
Bhajate
Yes.
yamam. Shraddhavan bhajate yamam. So, bhaja means one who worships me. That's anybody who worships, that's a bhakti yogi. Does it answer?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. And bhaktya will come many times from
Yes.
chapter 7th onwards, because all these
True.
chapters are the chapters on bhakti yoga.
True.
Does it answer? Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Deepika Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. So, just one more little question. So, can this Ashtanga yogis and other yogis can be greatest yogis? Or only Bhakti yogis can be like
According to Krishna, bhakti yogis.
only Bhakti yogis?
See, Krishna gave few verses on all of them. Rest of the entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is dedicating to bhakti yoga. You will see now Krishna repeatedly says only one thing. Krishna will repeat at least 30-40 times. Devotional service, devotional service, devotional service. That's the only way. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. We will see. Only by bhakti can I be known.
Yeah,
Other
from
people can
like
be known.
7th chapter to 12th chapter, it's Bhakti yogi, right? Bhakti yoga.
Further also, they are not Jnana yoga, but they are knowledge needed for bhakti yoga.
Okay. So
practice
it's
Bhakti Yoga.
related to anyhow, it's related to Bhakti Yoga. Even,
Everything else.
yes.
Even the last 6 chapters.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else has any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Chandan here. I have a question.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you said every time when we take bath with ignorance, mode of ignorance, and we progress on Krishna consciousness based on where we left in the previous life. So is that true? Like we have to take birth and death each time until we reach to the 100% of the Krishna consciousness, or is that like how much you progress? Next life we have to continue from there, and each life we have to progress bit, like depends on how much we uh, get knowledge on Krishna consciousness, or maybe we saw the bhakti in the current life. It depends on that, or when this birth and death will be accomplished.
When we become pure devotees of the Lord, when we
Yes.
have no material desires remaining, and we are completely attracted to the Lord, how much progress we have made depends upon how much attraction we have developed for Krishna.
So
Whatever
until
we are, go ahead.
yeah, until then we have to. There like will be in the cycle of birth and death, right?
We'll be in the cycle, but human birth is guaranteed. Once
Okay.
we begin the path of Bhakti Yoga, human birth is guaranteed, and every life is a progress till we make it. We don't have to go to um, a lower animal kingdom life. We don't even have to go to heavenly life unless we practice and then we give it up. With all the material desires, we die, then we may go to heavenly planets. But if we remain devotees throughout our life, we will very focusedly continue practicing devotional service. Even if we are attached to deer, even if we become a deer, becoming a deer does not mean we go through 8.4 million species. As a deer, Prabhupada said, great yogis who offended Vaishnavas became monkeys and other animals in Vrindavan. But they are all, anybody who is born in Vrindavan are great yogis. So their next birth again they will continue because they made some grave mistake. They had to take that particular form. So they in a way they don't go down the 8.4 million species and suffer and just don't know what they are doing. Once begin, it's a sign of great auspiciousness. If we just continue, either we go back to Godhead or next birth human guaranteed in the family of devotees, we continue from there. But the best is, why don't we finish our business and develop complete attraction for the Lord in this life? How do I do that? Well, come to 16 rounds, accept a spiritual master, sincerely follow the process of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulatory principles, um, I will take you back home back to Godhead. So having faith in Prabhupada, they can say, all right, we may be able to go back to Godhead in this life. Just be sincere and be
Yes.
strict with the regulatory principles.
So,
You are doing good. You are already aspiring, and
Prabhuji.
we hope you soon get initiated. So just
Thank
be
you.
sincere like what you are doing now. Is it all
And
right?
yes, Prabhuji, I have another question. So how should I know what is the age of my soul?
Well, soul is eternal, Prabhu. Soul does not have an age. What do you mean by age of my soul?
So like soul takes different bodies, right? So today I have this body. I have a soul is never die. Soul doesn't die, but it takes only change the dress, how the like body like change the different it go to different bodies. So uh, so the soul is always fresh. It is young. You mean?
Sure, soul is, I mean, I don't want to use the word fresh and young, but soul is eternal. For soul, there is no birth, there is no age, there is no old age, there is no death.
Okay. Thank you, Rose.
Soul, soul is full of bliss. full of knowledge, eternal.
Got it. Thank you so much.
What's your question?
Yeah, got it. That is the question selection. I wanted to know like what is my soul says. So
Yeah,
now I answer. So yeah, I'm good.
thank you. Anyone else
Thank
has
you.
any other question? Okay, so let us move to 7th chapter quickly. Uh, Now we are going to begin the crux, the main essence of Bhagavad Gita begins from now. Um, the name of the chapter is Knowledge of the Absolute. The acronym for the chapter is HEAD. Can someone confirm? You can see the presentation, HEAD.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. H stands for hearing, E stands for everywhere, A stands for accept or reject, and D stands for Devatas. Very, very nice chapter. We will try to cover H and E. If not, we'll see where we begin. Now, okay. So, who has not read so far? Um,
Me, Prabhuji, I did not read. Hare
yes,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji,
Carry
Pravina
on.
Mataji, please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt."
Now, here, O son of Pritha. Now, sometime it's referred to as son of Pritha, and sometimes it's referred to as Partha. Pritha is referring to Kunti. So son of Pritha is Arjuna, and sometimes Krishna says, O Partha. Partha means son of Pritha. So sometimes these two words are used. Now here, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Now, how by practicing yoga? The yoga that Krishna is now referring to is one who is always thinking of Krishna within his heart. And that's why Krishna says, with mind attached to me. Purpose of yoga. That's yogi. Um, how with that yoga, with mind attached to me or always remembering me within the heart, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So Krishna is speaking about the glories of. Now Krishna is telling, I am going to speak about myself. If you hear about me now, hearing brings attraction. We develop relationship by hearing. Uh, when when Krishna told Arjuna, one who always thinks of me within his heart, Arjuna had this doubt internally. How can I always think of somebody I don't know? Can we think of someone we don't know? No. We have to know sufficiently about the person in order to always think of him. And Krishna is here telling, now hear more about me. That's why Krishna is going to speak about himself now. And that's why this chapter is also called Knowledge of the Absolute, knowing Krishna. And by hearing about Krishna, we develop attraction. Many, many examples. Uh, Very quick. Rukmini never saw Krishna. He heard about Krishna. When he heard about Krishna, when she heard about Krishna, she became attracted to Krishna. She sent a letter. She was about to get married to Shishupal. She sent a letter through a Brahmana, and she told the Brahmana, go and give this letter as soon as possible. The Brahmana ran on his chariot overnight, whole day, again overnight, reached Krishna in Mathura, gave the letter. Krishna opened the letter. Rukmini. Who is she? I mean, Krishna knows everything. I heard about you. I am completely attracted to you. I cannot marry anybody other than you. My brother and my father My brother Rukmi and my father has arranged my marriage with Shishupal, who is a very demoniac personality. Shishupal is actually Krishna's cousin, so Krishna know that. He would always blaspheme Krishna. Anyways, Krishna is still transcendental. Krishna delivered him also. So, married to Shishupal, if you do not come and take me from marriage, I will commit suicide. Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. Krishna reciprocates with his devotees' attachments towards them. He was fighting a war with Jarasandha. He left the war in middle and rode the chariot right into the mandap, the marriage mandap, the marriage ceremony, where Rukmini was getting married. And um, um, Krishna told, that's why one of the name of Krishna is Ranchod. Ranchod means who left the battlefield. Some people criticize Krishna because Krishna told Arjuna, fight. Arjuna want to run away from battlefield and Krishna says fight. But he himself ran away because Krishna never cared about what people think about him. For Krishna, the most important aspect is um, Bhakta Vatsala. Lord Ram cared. He lived according to society. That's why Maryada Purushottam. Krishna never cared. Krishna never cared what people think about him. All Krishna cared is pleasing devotees. Bhakta Vatsala. Vatsa is calf. Just like a cow takes care of the calf with lot of love, Krishna takes care of his devotees with utmost care. That's the most famous name of Krishna, Bhakta Vatsala. So Krishna ran and Jarasandha was proud person. Jarasandha thought Krishna ran away because he's darpok or he is afraid of me. Krishna defeated Jarasandha 17 times in the war. And because Rukmini message, why Krishna didn't kill Jarasandha? Because Jarasandha was helping Krishna. How he was helping Krishna? Because Krishna's one of the external purpose of Krishna is Vinashaya Chaduskritam, to annihilate the demons. And Jarasandha would bring all the demons from all over Earth planet. He would accumulate and come and fight with Krishna. Krishna in one shot will kill them all. The number of demons that Jarasandha would bring were more than number of people fighting in Mahabharat war. We just heard about Mahabharat war, but greater number of people would come and fight against Krishna, and Jarasandha would bring all the greatest demons of the planet, and Krishna would kill them all. And then Krishna would leave Jarasandha alive. Jarasandha would go because he was a greatly powerful man. Happy doing it because that's his purpose, to annihilate the demoniac personalities. 17 times Krishna defeated. 18 times Rukmini later came. Krishna didn't care about Jarasandha because internal purpose is loving exchange with his devotees. That gives him happiness. External purpose is annihilating the demons. So Krishna left, and Jarasandha later on was preaching to Shishupal, and he said, "See, I never gave up hope, and finally Krishna understood my power, and Krishna ran away out of fear." So this was Jarasandha's version, because he had pride in his heart. Anyways, Rukmini developed attraction towards Krishna just by hearing about him. There is another story where um, um, Krishna one day, it was a full moon night, Purnima. Krishna went to Vamsivat. He took out his flute, played his flute, called all the gopis through his flute. That's how Krishna would communicate. And all the gopis came, and uh, um, when they came, Krishna disappeared. It's a long story. It is covered in 5 chapters. Just telling the main crux. Krishna disappeared. They were searching in great anxiety. They want to see Krishna again. after they sang a geet also, it's called Gopi Geet. Jayati Tedhikam Janmana Vraja. So this is a Gopi Geet, beautiful, beautiful song sung by the gopis. And after that, Krishna appeared again. And Krishna told the gopis, attraction for me is not developed by physical association. Attraction for me is developed by hearing about me. And here Krishna is telling, now here with mind attached to me. If we hear, our mind will become attached to Krishna. And Krishna, out of his great mercy, is telling us about himself. Not only now, but in future chapters. Krishna showed his universal form, and Krishna tells a lot about him, who he is, in many, many chapters to come. So a lot of emphasis on hearing about Krishna. And that's why many times I emphasize on some pastimes of Krishna in between Bhagavad Gita, from Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, because more and more we hear about him, we will develop more and more attraction towards him. And the goal is not just theoretically understanding Bhagavad Gita. Goal is to develop a relationship with Krishna, of who Krishna is. That comes by hearing about him. All right, this is few 2-3 slides on emphasis of hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, just to emphasize on how important it is to hear about Krishna. Uh, Yogendra Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna.
The person who desires spiritual perfection should hear the narrations of Lord Krishna, the constant hearing of which destroys everything inauspicious. The devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies and should also continue his hearing through the day.
Hmm. If you are desiring spiritual perfection, should hear the narrations of Lord Krishna. Hear about Krishna. If you're desiring spiritual perfection. If you constantly hear about the Lord, everything inauspicious will be destroyed from within your heart. The devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies and should continue this hearing throughout the day. So, Srila Prabhupada said, in the olden times, in the village, people would work and do their duties in the daytime. In the night, everybody would come together and they would call some priest from some nearby temple, and they all would sit and hear Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Harikatha. This is a culture of India. Every day they would come and hear Harikatha. That's how their mind will become absorbed and attracted to Harikatha. Srila Prabhupada, at another point, he said, every day in the night, drink hot milk and read Krishna book. Krishna book is 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. And Krishna book is all about Krishna, starting from the appearance of Krishna all the way till the time Krishna disappeared from this planet. Everything that Krishna did is captured in this book called Krishna book. You can search Krishna book by Srila Prabhupada. Every day, Srila Prabhupada said, if you read Krishna book every day in the night, you will dream about Krishna in the night. So Krishna book is something very, very special Srila Prabhupada gave so that we can develop some attraction towards Krishna. Hearing about Krishna is very, very important. You will know everything about Krishna by doing that. If you like to watch some movies, there is a serial called Little Krishna. It's about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and Krishna killing various demons. It does not contain Dwarka, Mathura and other pastimes, but just some little pastimes of Vrindavan. Very nice. Hearing about the Lord will develop attraction. I encourage you all to do that. Okay. Now another thing is hearing about Lord includes hearing about devotees of the Lord and hearing about, so there are there are two there are two kinds of Krishna Katha. One Krishna Katha or Hari Katha is something spoken by Krishna, and one Krishna Katha is spoken by Krishna, which is Bhagavad Gita. Another Krishna Katha is spoken about Krishna, which is Shrimad Bhagavatam, which also includes speaking about the devotees of Krishna. So what we are doing, although it's Bhagavad Gita, although there may be instructions, still Krishna Katha, because this is the only instruction Krishna personally gave. At the same time, hearing directly about Krishna will also help us understand more Krishna's personality. And we hear about somebody more and more, we develop attraction. Okay, who will read? Somebody who has not read? Devashish Prabhu, Shweta Mataji,
Yes,
Malika
yes.
Arjuna.
Sri Krishna, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages.
So the Lord is sitting in our heart. And when Krishna sees that we have developed eagerness to hear about him, the Lord remove all material desires from our heart. It is not up to us to become pure. हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. Krishna has to remove the impurities. Here the situation is mentioned when Krishna will remove impurities from our heart. And he is telling when he sees that we have developed attraction, we have developed eagerness to hear about him, he will remove the impurities from our hearts. And the eagerness will develop more and more by hearing about Krishna more and more. See, among hearing and chanting, chanting is more important. Among hearing and chanting. But chanting we do only certain number of rounds. 8 rounds, 16 rounds. It is finished in 1.5 hours. Rest of the day we should hear about Krishna as much time, to an extent that one should become addicted to hearing about Krishna. And when we become addicted to hear about Krishna, when Krishna sees that, by becoming addicted to hearing about Krishna, our attraction for Krishna will keep on growing. And the more we are attracted to Krishna, the more our heart will keep on becoming more and more cleansed. That's why it is mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami that the qualification to be attracted to Krishna is no material desires. Then we can be completely attracted to Krishna. It's called Nirad Bhakta, no material desires. But to get to that stage, we have to practice. We have to kind of enforce ourselves to hear about Krishna. I remember I was never a reader. I would never read. But then I pushed myself to read some small books that gave me some confidence that I can also read. I finished 2, 3 books, then I finished Bhagavad Gita. Then I finished Bhagavatam, then I finished Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then continued one after the another. And then it was like, now I have to read because, you know, it it comes into your habit. So one has to enforce oneself. Then anything you do for a period of time, I heard some lecture, if you do anything consistently for 21 days, it will become your habit. So read, read every day. That is a best way, one of the best means to hear about Krishna. Make a goal, finish Bhagavad Gita. Once you finish that, finish Bhagavatam. If you are engaging your time in this way in Krishna's service, it's a sign of your great fortune. If you're not engaging your time in Krishna's service, you are engaging your time elsewhere. And that elsewhere, yeah, perform your duty, your services, but any extra time you have, use it in reading and hearing about the Lord. And if you think I don't have extra time, then desire. My Lord, please make arrangement. I really want to do this. Krishna is sitting in your heart. If you desire also, Krishna will make arrangements for you to get time to read and hear about the Lord. But it's very important. That's why so much emphasis. Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking again and again. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have a question here. Not question, actually, I have some problems I wanted to share with you. That, as you said, reading is really good, and we need to have a desire to read always, at least some small, starting from small book to big book like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. But I do have some eyesight problems, so which while reading, see, whenever you ask for any volunteers, I never upfront come and read here because I do have some problem while reading. So how to, I know this is my obstacle. So, but in what way I can, uh, you know, so I mean, instead of reading, how can I do other service so that I can be part of this?
Prabhu, there is a audio Bhagavad Gita,
Okay,
audio Bhagavatam, audio Chaitanya Charitamrita. Keep on hearing. It is with purports. So keep on listening Bhagavad Gita with purport, finish it, and then the thing with audio is if you don't understand anything, take a pause, write down questions, and text me or ask me on Saturdays, however you are comfortable.
sure.
And um, somehow or other keep going forward, because the thing with reading is you go at your pace. Thing with audio is you go at their pace.
That is true. Yes,
है ना? But that's the best in this situation.
yes, Prabhuji.
And
I do
if
that.
if you are sincere, Krishna consciousness cannot be stopped by physical ailments. Krishna consciousness is transcendental. You can go back to Godhead without reading, just by doing. Krishna can give you all realization. Sincere, pure desire and effort in whichever way you can.
Got it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
There is a story of a Brahmana who could not read. He was a illiterate. You heard about it?
No, Prabhuji.
He was a illiterate. His spiritual master told him, read Bhagavad Gita. He was a illiterate. Illiterate people cannot read or write. So he would read Bhagavad Gita, he would recite Bhagavad Gita, Sanskrit, and he would not understand anything. And what he would recite is also broken because he knows little bit here and there, but he is not really educated person. When he would recite, all the all the brahmanas around him will laugh at him. See, here is a foolish man, illiterate, Gadha. He's he's reading, and he does not even know how to read, and he does not even understand. He's just repeating like a parrot, useless. Lord Chaitanya this was happening in Sri Rangam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Sri Rangam, and he saw this person reading and people are laughing around him, and this person had tears in his eyes. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, what are you reading? Why are you crying? And he said, I'm an illiterate. My spiritual master asked me to read every day. So I'm reading every day. I'm following the instructions of my spiritual master. But I don't know how to read. So then why are you crying? Well, I am crying because when I see Krishna, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, has taken such a humble position that he has agreed to become the driver of Arjuna. Just that sight of Krishna becoming the driver of Arjuna is bringing tears in my eyes. And um, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have actually understood the import. Basically, he understood Krishna's mood of Bhakta Vatsala, Krishna trying to become the servant of his devotees. Krishna does not need to. He's a Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is trying to become the servant of his own devotees. That thought of Krishna was bringing tears in his eyes. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him entire Bhagavad Gita for the next 4 months, and he became a great devotee of the Lord just because he was he was illiterate. But mercy of Lord comes just when we are sincere. Okay. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. Actually, there is a devotee. He says if you read Bhagavad Gita and understand Bhagavad Gita fully, you will go back to Godhead just based on Bhagavad Gita. Yet at the same time, if you hear Srila Prabhupada said Krishna book, you will become very attracted to Krishna's personality. Okay. Now, who will read?
I'll read the question. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and luminous, is being known. Nothing further shall remain for you to know.
Now I shall declare to you this knowledge. Phenomenal is spiritual knowledge, numinous is material knowledge. Krishna is telling now, first I am going to tell you about material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. If you have this knowledge, nothing further shall remain for you to know. You will know everything. Okay. Now, Sri Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to read? Okay. Malika Arjun.
Here, Prabhuji. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these eight constitute my separated material energies.
Now this is everywhere. What we just discussed was the importance of hearing. Now Krishna is going to speak about material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. In this particular verse, Krishna is speaking about material knowledge. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. They are my separated material energies. Now this is very instructive verse. Everything in this material world is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, something little technical, try to understand. Earth is like in the flower, the calcium and everything, that is all earth element. Earth, we are not referring to the planet, but everything that comes from earth is also earth element. So, this earth element, like a rose, we have five senses. We have five senses and the sense of touch. We can engage all these five senses in the earth element. Like we can hear the sound when chemicals fall down or something happens. This sound is also coming from earth element because skin is earth element. Then there is water. Then there is we can smell like the rose. We can see. We can touch. Uh, so we can interact all five senses with the earth element. Water, one level subtler than earth. Water, we can taste the water. We can hear the splashing of water. We can see the water, we can touch the water. There is no smell. So it has become little subtler. Fire, we can touch the fire and we get burned also. We can see the fire. We cannot taste the fire. Um, once we go to, so we are going one level subtler. Air, we can touch the air. We can hear the air, but we cannot see the air. We cannot smell the air. We cannot taste the air. And then ether. We cannot. Ether is sound basically. So we can hear, uh, but we cannot touch the ether. Ether is space element. We cannot touch the space. We can touch Like when fire makes some sound, we can still hear that. Ear is the last element to go. Ether is sound. We can hear it, but we cannot do any other senses. Mind, we cannot use any of the senses. So it's one level more subtler. Intelligence is even subtler than mind, and false ego is more subtler than intelligence. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego are becoming more and more subtler. Subtler than false ego is actually the soul. So if somebody says, well, I will believe in soul only if I see the soul, well, my dear sir, we cannot see air also, we cannot see ether, we cannot see mind, we cannot see ego, we cannot see intelligence. We can experience them, but we cannot see them. Soul is even subtler than all these. How can we see the soul? So question does not arise. None of the five senses can perceive the soul. That's why Krishna says soul cannot be perceived. What about soul? Ego cannot be perceived. Ego we can understand little bit here and there, um, but our understanding is also very limited. But as we grow in bhakti, we become more and more subtle in our spiritual life, and we start understanding these things more and more clearly. Any layman can understand earth, water, fire, air, ether, but to go further, only devotees can go further into mind, intellect, ego, soul, and super soul. Super soul is Supreme Lord. We can't even see us, the soul. There is no question of seeing Krishna. With these eyes, we can only see matter. These eyes are matter. We cannot see anything spiritual. We can only perceive matter, and not only the entire matter. Mind, intelligence, ego still consider matter, but it is called subtle matter. Subtle because gross senses cannot perceive them. That's why they are called subtle matter. And Krishna is telling they are all my energies. So Krishna is already claiming it. One time one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada how to control the mind. Prabhupada smiled. Prabhupada said you cannot control the mind. Prabhupada said mind is Krishna's energy. Krishna can control the mind. It is Krishna's energy. If you surrender to Krishna, Krishna can control your mind. That's the way to control the mind. Okay, we have just few more minutes. Who will lead? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Bhakti.
Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature.
Beside these, what are these? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Beside these, there is another superior energy. And what is superior energy? We, the living entities. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to exploit the resources of this material inferior nature. In other words, we are trying to enjoy matter. We are engaged. But Krishna is telling you belong to me and you are my superior energy. So we are superior to mind, intelligence, and ego. They are inferior energy of Krishna. Matter is inferior energy of Krishna. We are superior energy. That's why we can exploit matter, because we are superior to matter. And that's what we are doing. We are making cars, we are buildings, um, electronic products. We are doing so many things. We are dealing with matter. We are changing matter. We are enjoying matter. And we can do all these things because we are superior to matter. So we are exploiting this material resources. Another thing we can see here is Krishna is claiming us. Krishna is telling we belong to him. Just like Devashish Prabhu had a son. So Devashish Prabhu can say he is my son. Shweta Mataji can say he is my son. Nobody else can claim it. So likewise, Krishna is claiming us. You belong to me. Nobody else has claimed, no other devata or personality has claimed. But Krishna is claiming that you are my energy. All the living entities belongs to me. We belong to Krishna. This is called Sambandha Gyan. We can practice Sambandha Gyan means who am I? What is my relationship with the Supreme Lord? Krishna is telling you are mine. So Krishna is claiming us. Yes, because of material energy, we forgot and we have created false identification as a part of this material world. But Krishna is telling you are mine. This is called Sambandha Gyan. Only once we realize Sambandha Gyan that actually I belong to Krishna, then the Bhakti Yoga starts. Once we don't even know who we are, how can we render devotional service? Okay, 4 minutes more. Who will read? Anyone who has not read so far?
Yes, bro, I can read.
Please, Prabhuji.
All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution.
Mm. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Why? As a spirit soul, we are superior energy, and then we have this covering of mind, intelligence, ego, and then we have a further covering of earth, what this body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. The bones and the skin is earth element. 70% of the body is water. There is heat which digests the food. There is lungs contains air, and then there is space or ether or sound element. So this is what the gross body is made up of. Then subtle body is not visible. Mind, intelligence, ego. So all created beings have their source in these two natures. So now Krishna has covered everything in the material world. Instead of Krishna telling car belongs to me, home belongs to me, the body also belongs to me, the laptop belongs to mobile belongs to me, Krishna is telling earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego are my separated material energies. Because today we have these things, tomorrow we will create more things. We are constantly exploiting matter because we are superior to matter. New and new transformations of matter will come, but Krishna has claimed everything for time immemorial. Everything is claimed. Just like we make hundreds and hundreds of vegetables, but the spices are the same. I mean, different proportion, different spices goes in different, but there's a set of ingredient, and we can bring hundreds and thousands of taste from the same spices. Every home has like 20-30 spices. So likewise, these five elements is like you can create millions of things with these five elements. All that is material, all that is spiritual. I am the source, I am the origin. Everything emanates from me, and I am the dissolution also. Dissolution is destructive principle. So Srila Prabhupada said, he gave an example. Krishna as Paramatma tells the ant, see there is some food on the leaf, go and take it. So the ant goes and starts feeding some food on the leaf, and then there's a spider nearby. And Krishna tells as Paramatma and the spider, see there is an ant, go and eat the ant. So the spider goes and eat the ant. So Krishna is like the time of the ant is up. So Krishna instructs spider. So that dissolution, everything is also happening by Krishna's mercy. When the time is up, time is up. So I will read it quickly, fast. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may be the cause of a big skyscraper, a big factory, or even a big city, but he cannot be the cause of a big universe. The cause of the big universe is the big soul or the super soul. And Krishna, the Supreme, is the original cause of all causes. We can make big material things, but we cannot make universe. We did not create universe. We were born in this universe. We're trying to exploit the universe, but we cannot create. So that is a big soul or super soul. All right, so we will end here. It's 11 o'clock, 11:01. I just noticed. Any last question? And we begin from this verse onwards. Okay. Thank you all very much for joining, and grateful to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnavindra ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.